All right, welcome back. So I decided after doing the Claymore and Airds video, I thought I'd do one on Minto to kind of wrap up the series. Just take a look at what happens after an urban renewal project. So yeah, we'll go take a bit of a look around and have a bit of a talk about it and just see what's happening. And yeah, fascinating actually. You wouldn't know it today, but this quiet suburb was once called a dumping ground for the city's problems. Over 1,000 homes were bulldozed, entire streets disappeared, and thousands of people were moved out. This is Minto, and its story may hold the key to what's coming next for places like Claymore and Airds. Minto was born in the 1960s as part of a wave of new public housing estates. Built on Sydney's outskirts like Claymore, it was based on a design model called the Rebirth, where homes faced inward to communal walkways instead of streets. The idea came from America, but in practice here it created dark alleyways and isolated communities. Minto was largely built between 1969 and 1975. Originally 100% public housing under the New South Wales Housing Commission. The estate included duplexes, walk-ups and single-storey homes with poor street access. By the 1990s, Minto's problems had hit crisis point. Youth crime, unemployment and social disadvantage were rife. Many families lived in multi-generational poverty and few pathways out. In 1998, report found Minto had the highest rate of break-and-enters in New South Wales. But the real issue was structural, how the suburb had been built and how tightly poverty had been concentrated. This looks like an empty house there. Probably renovating, or I don't know, maybe even just demolishing that one. In 2002, the New South Wales government launched the Minto Renewal project, a $700 million plan to transform the suburb. Over the next 15 years, more than 1,000 homes were demolished. In their place, a mix of private and social housing. Managed by Landcom and New South Wales Housing, and later Family and Community Services, aim break the cycle of disadvantage by deconcentrating public housing. Replaced old stock with new dwellings, 70% sold privately and 30% retained as social housing. Many original residents were relocated to other suburbs. Some never returned. New facilities added: Minto Marketplace, upgraded train station, parks, sports fields. But not everyone agreed with the process. While the suburb became safer, some said the community was lost in the demolition. These were the heart of the Rebirth-style layout, now transformed with new homes. Rows of red brick flats once stood here. Most of what you see now was rebuilt under the Minto Renewal project. Yeah, so I've just been down Eagle View Road and I'm just heading down Glasshouse Boulevard, I think it's called. It's kind of pretty interesting just looking around, walking around the streets and seeing some of the old places with the new ones, seeing the areas with that all new housing in there. It's just kind of fascinating. So it'd be very interesting to see how Airds and Claymore turn out. There's a place all boarded up. This place looks like it's had a fire in it. Crazy. See a bit of that around now. Probably got some squatters in it too, I'd say. Interesting. What makes Minto important is it's finished. It's the end of a story that's just beginning in Claymore and Airds. You can walk these streets and get a glimpse of what those suburbs could become if the same path is followed. But we also need to ask who benefits from renewal and what happens to those who are moved out. Can you truly rebuild a suburb without rebuilding a community? Minto is no longer forgotten, but it's also no longer the same place as it was. That might be a good thing or a loss. Was Minto's transformation worth the loss of a community? That depends on who you ask. For some, Minto is safer, cleaner, and offers a real sense of pride for new families. But for long-term residents, what was lost wasn't just housing, it was history, relationships, identity. The physical renewal succeeded, but the emotional cost, that part is still up for debate and maybe always will be. If you reduce public housing and increase private homes, where do the original residents go? Many were relocated to other suburbs, some nearby, others far from the original community. A few returned to Minto, but most didn't. That raises a difficult truth about urban renewal. Improving a suburb doesn't always mean helping the people who once called it home. It's a reshaping of a place, not always of people's lives. Did Minto really fix the problem or just hide it? It depends on what fix means. Visually the problems are gone, no rundown housing, no maze-like walkways, but if you dig deeper, some of the social challenges didn't disappear. They just shifted postcode. Renewal treats the symptoms, but unless support systems improve alongside it, the deeper issues can remain unsolved. Will Claymore and Airds end up like this, or is Minto a one-off? Minto is the roadmap, but every suburb has its own story. Claymore and Airds are following similar redevelopment models, but the outcomes will depend on timing, funding, and how much local voices are heard. Minto shows what can happen, but not necessarily what will. What happens to a suburb's identity when it rebuilds from scratch? It changes, sometimes drastically. A suburb's soul often lives in its people, not its buildings. When you remove those people and reshape the streets, the identity gets rewritten. Minto now has a new face, but whether it keeps its heart, it's something only time and its residents can decide. Who actually benefits from urban renewal, residents or developers? That's the big question on paper. It's meant to benefit both. Better housing for residents, profits for developers, but when profits outweigh people, priorities shift. The best renewals find the balance, but in many cases those with the most to gain are the ones drawing the blueprints. Should every struggling suburb go through a transformation like Minto, or is there another way? Minto shows one path, but it's not the only one. Sometimes communities thrive with better services, not bulldozers. Investments in jobs, education, transport and local pride can renew from within. Sometimes the buildings need to change, but sometimes the system does, and that's a harder rebuild, but maybe the one that lasts. Old house. Empty now? There's quite a lot of these around, eh? Just dotted around everywhere.